If I started a transaction coordinator business in 2024, I'd do this. Welcome back to the Transaction Care Podcast. I'm your host and resident care coordinator, Lillian Hernandez, but you can call me Lilly. This is episode 51, but before we dive into that, make sure you sign up for the email newsletter. Go to transactioncarepodcast.com so you know exactly when new episodes are released, as well as exclusive deals for my email community only. I do one-on-one coaching. I'm also a transaction coordinator, content creator, and I'm here to support you in your journey. So again, go to transactioncarepodcast.com. Now let's jump into this episode. This being my 6th year in business, shout out to me. Shout out to anyone that's made it past year 5, because we all know those first 5 years are rough and choppy and so unpredictable. Who's to say the next 5 won't be, but at this point in the game, I'm up for the challenge. I'm ready, and I'm open to anything new that is headed my way. If I started a transaction coordinator business in 2024, I'd do this. Here are my 6 tips to help you navigate transaction coordination this year moving forward. The reason I chose 6 tips is because this year marks my 6th year anniversary of being in business on my own, no bosses, no 9 to 5, where I made that leap. I took that leap of faith after 2 years of just being in motion and not taking any real action. 2018 was the year I said, enough is enough. I'm ready. I'm going to do this afraid. I'm going to do this now. There's no stopping me at this point. And I'm so grateful to have made it 6 years. And cheers to 6 more, 60 more years, 70, 80, 90 more years. Cheers to all that goodness. But today, I want to help you, for those curious about transaction coordination, already are transaction coordinators, but you're kind of still in that now what phase, or for those that are ready but just don't know where to start. These are 6 tips that I can offer you based on my experience and what I would do differently. So let's just jump straight into it. So I'm going to list them off right off the bat so you guys can have them up front. And for those that continue to listen, thank you. To start off, I would hire help, or at least have the mentality of hiring help, save more money, a TC management platform, an email list, a MacBook, and a community. So I'm going to elaborate on each of these steps. And if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me or leave a comment on this episode. You can head to transactioncare.com to learn more about what I'm doing here, learn more about the podcast, my coaching services, and you can email me at tc@transactioncare.com. So let's elaborate. Step 1, or tip 1, why would I hire help? Why is that something I would do differently? So when I quit my job, full transparency, I had no idea what I was going to do next. I knew that year I was ready to quit, and thankfully things aligned, and I ended up getting a call to be a transaction coordinator for another brand new startup real estate company who, thank God, provided a lot of my business early on. But having quit my job, being in a 9 to 5 my entire adult life, I had no idea how to run a business. I knew about business. I'd always had a passion for business, but it really wasn't something that I was fully ready to do. But I embraced it and I took it day by day, step by step, which I still continue to do even in year 6. But now, obviously, with more knowledge, more education, more confidence, more courage. Hiring help, or at least having the mentality of I will hire someone to join my team, either as an assistant, a social media manager, editor, etc. Because early on in my business, those first couple of years, and mind you, I'm also taking care of my grandmother. I was able to be with her in the last year of her life. But juggling that, being a caretaker, as well as managing, running, owning, operating a full-time transaction coordinator business with no business experience prior, other than when I used to sell candy in high school at lunch. But other than that, my experience was very minimal. And I didn't have the right mindset to think, okay, well, when I hit X amount of closings a month or X amount of money a month, this is my cue to hire help, to outsource, to see what's out there. And I didn't have any of that. Or when I hit X amount of money, this is my cue to expand. So that wasn't my mindset. I just thought, be grateful, be humble, do the work, put your head down. And I did just that. So my first year, I basically burnt out. And you can listen to past episodes of this podcast where I discuss that. And I'll definitely be talking about burnout and ways to manage that in business or even in your day-to-day life. But at this particular point in my career, my first couple of years, I definitely wish I had that awareness to say, hey, it's time to ask for help. But instead, I let go of a lot of my business, which therefore resulted in, yes, more time, because now I'm thinking quality over quantity. But on the other hand, I did lose a lot of business and money due to that decision, thinking I had to bear all of this alone. So just know that if even if it's you're not ready financially, start exploring that idea. The more your business starts to grow, the more you're comfortable with the business. What are some tasks you want to relinquish and let go of so you can focus on other areas, whether it's continued education, expansion of the business, starting an agency, whatever the case, have the mindset that you are going to be adding to your team, part-time, full-time, a contractor, whatever the case. And that's definitely something I would have redone and would redo. And I'm always actively pursuing throughout my journey in entrepreneurship. Next tip is save more money. It can be tough to have a runway of money, reserves, emergency savings, etc. But I cannot express my first year of business would not have been as successful as it was if I did not have at least 6 months worth of savings in my bank account to give me that confidence to know, okay, if I mess up, at least I have some extra money in my bank account to get me through. Or if I have a slow month, I have some extra money to get me through. To take it a notch up, I wish I would have known more. I wish I would have had more financial literacy around the types of bank accounts, the types of savings accounts, the types of investment accounts, interest rates, etc. At that point, like I said, I had my head down. I was just doing the work. I pretty much went from had this, I still had a 9 to 5 mentality as an entrepreneur. And that mindset isn't going to get you too far, especially when it comes to how you spend your money, how you earn your money, and how your money grows after you've received it. So when I say save more money, that could be how you mentally save for more money, meaning you forecast what's coming ahead, you plan, you execute in that way, but also saving at least 1 to 3 months at first. Take some time to build up at least 1 month, whatever that is for you. Then you could move on to 3 months and then working on 3 to 6 months. And bonus, this one is even tougher, but it's possible, 6 to 12 months. I'm going to be honest, 2023 was one of my most difficult years financially for the business. But thankfully, I had money in my savings, because I had to tap into it in order to get by, to keep the bills paid, to keep the lights on, and to keep everything in motion. But having that runway of additional money brought me so much more ease when it came time to make difficult decisions, or when it came time to having a month where I only had one closing or two closings, which allowed me to stay creative. It allowed me to think of other ways that I want to run my business. Who do I want to include in this journey? Am I still enjoying this process? Am I still enjoying this work? How can I advance the podcast? How can I build my supporters, my community? Having that runway allows you to have that ease, that comfort of knowing that, okay, if things go wrong, I have this. So next year I can learn from this moving forward, that no matter what happens, I'm covered. So think of that and think of different ways that you can earn more money, whether it's through side hustles, getting more customers, upping your marketing, staying in, sacrificing a little bit. And my first year of business, one thing I don't regret was not going out as much. I even quit drinking for an entire year, which saved me, which is probably where all of my reserves came from because I love to go out. I love to socialize. I love to drink my tequila, right? But at that point in my life, I knew this is bigger than me. And I'm glad I took that year off to really get my finances in order, sacrifice. I stayed inside. I said no to outings, to trips, to drinking, to socializing. And I was just present with my business and Nana, AKA my grandma. So if you are ready to embark in this journey, it is going to take some sacrifice. It is going to take some mindfulness. And I know people say, well, if you don't drink that latte every day, you'll be richer. It's like, no, no, no. It's not about the latte. It's designing your life for you. I read in I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. He said, design your rich life. Not everyone likes to travel. Not everyone likes fine dining. Not everyone likes fashion. Some people like reading. So their rich life is having the best library in their home or visiting different libraries throughout the world. Others can be cars. I personally love cars. I don't have one at the moment. If anyone would like to sponsor this podcast, that is a car dealership or car company, I'm open to discussion, but I got rid of my car just based on the neighborhood I live in. But everyone's rich life looks different. So if people are spending their money on certain things, don't judge them because they're on their own path. And all I'm saying now is when it comes to saving more money, earning more money, spending more money, etc., make sure it's personalized to you, your dreams, your goals, your loves, and how you see your rich life fit. And having that reserves is going to work wonders. I promise you. You may have to sacrifice those lattes for 1 month to put that $10, $15 a day into a high yield savings account in the meantime. But I promise you, no one ever regrets having emergency money or extra money in their bank account, especially when it's needed the most. So saving money is definitely something I would have done more because at that point I was making a lot more money than I ever made at my 9 to 5. So I got a little reckless, I'm not going to lie. And I did drop a lot of money on a certain event that hashtag no regrets, right? But looking now in hindsight, when last year being the slower months, now I have to work back. I have to work on gaining back that runway, to building up that runway. So now I'm going to have to make some sacrifices, make some changes, and also take some risks. In order to make money, you got to make some moves and take action. But think about that. And if you have questions about business checking accounts, saving for taxes, investment accounts, high yield savings accounts, feel free to reach out. But then again, disclaimer, I am not an accountant. I'm not an attorney. I'm simply just your friend in the industry that wants to help you and provide you with the basic fundamental information and knowledge that I know that I do not want to gatekeep. And these are things that I learned every day as I grew throughout these last 6 years that I'm continuing to learn about. And if you want book recommendations, I got them. Go to transactioncare.com and definitely join my newsletter because that's where a lot of these insider tips are being sent ahead of time, as well as additional feedback and one-on-one coaching offerings are available. Next tip, I would have definitely started using a transaction management platform day one. Even when I worked at my 9 to 5, I wish I understood how they worked, what companies were available at the time, because no one in the Bay Area, the TCs that I knew at the time, never talked about TC management platforms. But also, there wasn't a large presence of TCs on social media either. And which is why I created my podcast and my YouTube channel. I wanted to give us a voice, a platform, shine more light on this job because we are important. And a big part of being efficient and successful as a transaction coordinator is being organized and having one place where you can house all of your files from different companies and manage them day to day with your agenda, your to-do list, your task list, your checklist, all of it, your reminders, your emails, automation, and it all just lives on one platform. I'm not going to name any particular transaction management platforms because I want you to do your own due diligence, do your own research. And also, I'm paying them, they're not paying me. But if you want to know who I am using, feel free to message me on social media. It's at Transaction Care across Instagram, TikTok. Those are my two that I'm really active on. And of course, YouTube, Facebook. YouTube, definitely subscribe there. I'm posting more, especially I will also be posting the visuals to these episodes there. But having a transaction management platform is so key. And it does take time to set up because you have to customize it to your business, your checklist, etc. But even if you have just one transaction that you're working on, use that one transaction as if it's 10, 20, 100 as practice, getting to know the platform. How can you improve or update it or edit it? I swear I spent a whole weekend building it out. And then the moment I uploaded a transaction, I realized, oh, this is all wrong. And I ended up spending another weekend redoing the whole thing. But eventually I got it right. And I figured out the platform. I asked for help. I read articles, I watched videos, and I really just invested that time to making this platform work to my benefit. And I'm so grateful for that because I didn't start using one until about 3 years ago. And if you've been listening up until this point, you know that I've been in business for 6 years and I've worked in the real estate industry for 20. This also marks my 20-year anniversary. So shout out to me for real estate. I can't shake it. I don't know about you. Let me know if you've been in the real estate industry for 10 plus years, 2 decades plus. I can't shake it. And I'm at this point, I'm just accepting it, I'm embracing it. And that goes along with having a transaction management platform. So let me know what transaction platforms you're using and what you recommend. And if you have a transaction platform you would like to advertise or promote on the podcast, send me email, tc@transactioncare.com. Let's talk about it, work something out, and make sure we are both in alignment. Okay. Next up, number 4, having an email list. Okay, hear me out. Start building it now and send emails, even if it's to one person. Again, if it's that one transaction, that one file, it includes a bunch of people. Network with them. Start with them. Who is in your immediate family that has purchased a home or works in property management, inspectors, appraisers, lenders, escrow? Who within your sphere can you start reaching out and sending those emails out right away and building that habit of frequently sending out emails, whether it's once a week, bi-weekly, once a month, quarterly, annually? Either way, having an email list is so important. And again, I didn't start building mine out until about 2 years ago. And currently I have around 200, almost 200 followers, supporters, subscribers to my newsletter. But having an email list is so key because if the internet was to go out or social media platforms were to disappear, at least you have some form of intimate personal communication to reach out to your sphere of influence and your supporters, your community, to stay in touch and to keep them abreast of what you're doing with your business and what you're offering, where you're working, who you're servicing, all of that good stuff. But having an email list is so key. And then eventually you can build that into a newsletter. I love using ConvertKit. This is not sponsored. This is just my personal preference. I've tried all of the other ones, and ConvertKit so far has been my favorite option. I will keep you all posted throughout the year if that does change. But I will also put a link to my ConvertKit referral. So that might result in me getting a bit of a commission or some sort of credits. So I just wanted to put that out there as full disclaimer. But I do enjoy ConvertKit because it grows with you, meaning that you don't, if you get over 500 subscribers, you get charged like an astronomical amount of fees. But if you have under 300, it starts really low and then it adds like a couple dollars after every 100 after that. So it's affordable. It's easy to navigate. You can sell products on there. I sell my coaching products on there, my coaching services, I mean, on there. I create and sell. Oh, I don't create them on there, but I'm able to um, create email captures so I can promote workbooks, downloads, PDFs, etc. I love ConvertKit, so shout out to them and you're welcome for this free promotion. Number 5, I would get a MacBook ASAP. ASAP. I don't know what, okay, I know what it was. It's just the fear of change, my comfort zone, price, money. I just made having a MacBook bigger than it actually was. And one day I was in Portland, Oregon, and my best friend took me to Costco. And at that point, I was ready to upgrade my laptop because my laptop was giving me issues. And I had been a PC girl at that point for decades, since middle school, high school. And funny enough, in elementary school, the first computer I ever used was a Mac. When I was in like the second grade, my school had Mac computers, but like those original OG square ones. But after that, everything was always on a PC, everything. The only Mac devices I had was my phone and iPads. I don't know why I made having a MacBook this scary thing in my head. I tend to do that, and I'm working on that in therapy and coaching and journaling and prayer. Don't judge me, but I am officially Team Mac. Everything. Laptop, phone, iPads. I love it. I love it so much. And I still use my mouse. If you're watching this video, it's right there. Still got it. You just have to buy adapters because there aren't a lot of ports on the MacBook Pro that I got. But ultimately, I am Team Mac, period. And I see a lot of posts on Facebook about should I get a Mac or should I get a PC? Get what you can afford. Get what's easy for you. I'm very technologically savvy, so the transition from a PC to a Mac was very easy because I already had an idea of how it worked. I'm also not afraid to go to YouTube University to see how things work and try it out and experiment and fail and mess up. So if you are wondering, should I get a Mac or a PC? Get what you can afford. When I first started, I bought a Dell laptop, which was great. I would still have it to this day if it didn't just black out and die on me, but for good reason, because now I could be, especially if you're a creative, get a MacBook. I do the podcast on here. It has more space, it's faster, and it has a lot of the same functions and features as a PC, except just with a few minor adjustments and rewiring of your own brain to not do the same shortcuts. But other than that, if you're contemplating MacBook versus PC, get a MacBook, start at the basic, most affordable level. But if you got it, get the big kahuna. But if a PC is what's in your budget, I would definitely go with a Dell XP. And I think I had the Dell XP 13. I might be wrong, but I know it was a Dell XP, and I did a lot of research on that one. And I wanted something that was functionable, easy to carry around, lightweight, um, small bezel, which is the frame around your screen, camera, video function, speakers, microphone, all of that. And it had that. So if you are going to go PC, I'm a fan of Dell. If you are going to go MacBook Pro. But again, there are more affordable options and more expensive options on both ends. Whatever works for your budget, your skill level, and functionality, organization, all of that. You can't go wrong with either, but I would say I err more on the side of Macs nowadays. Okay, finally, and last point is building a community. I cannot stress how beneficial having a podcast has been to meeting new people or just meeting people that I've corresponded with on Facebook and the Facebook groups, or what, if we've had a transaction together, then we add each other on social media, or maybe they've listened to my podcast or watched some of my YouTube videos. But community is so important. One, obviously networking purposes, you can build a referral base around it, but outside of that, you can also consider vacation coverage. Who is someone that does similar or the same cities and counties and states that you TC in? And if you need vacation coverage, whether you're traveling, you're sick, you want to go on maternity leave, or you simply just want time off and you just want to take a break and step away, part-time, full-time, long periods of time, having a community can help you find those people to support, and vice versa. You can provide that for them, because a lot of transaction coordinators work around the clock. They work until they're exhausted, burnt out, on the brink of a breakdown, and that's just not fair. It's not fair, and I don't think it's right. I was there at one point in my life. Thankfully, it was a short period of time, and I was able to see that and get myself out of that. But if you are someone out there that is overworking yourself, afraid to ask for help, afraid to expose how messy your work is, how messy and disorganized your work is, screw it. Who cares? That's why we ask for help, to get more organized, to get feedback, to ask other people, how do you do it? How can I do things differently? I need help. I am suffering. I am drowning in files. I am drowning in emails. There has to be a better way. And that's where the community steps in. Whether you are building your community for networking and business, building your community again for vacation coverage, time off, maternity leave, friendship. Friendship goes a long way as well, because it's nice to have people in like-minded situations and like-minded thoughts and work fields that can relate to you. Because we all know when we go home or we're at home and we're done with work and we're talking to someone that has nothing to do with real estate, it's like talking in a different language to them. And I'm sure that you could say the same for them in their work. And that's okay. They may not relate, but as long as they're supporting you and loving you through that, it's okay. But friendship, it's okay. I'm not a big proponent of having work friends, mainly coworkers, when you're working at an office, because that can go sideways. And I'll probably have a whole separate podcast on work friends. Stay tuned for that, because I have a good 10 years worth of stories on that and how I've been figuratively just screwed over. Having a community is important to build trust, to be in the Facebook groups for tips, advice. There are things where there have been moments where I've had a transaction that I haven't done in a while. Let's just say it's a short sale. And I can go into the community and say, hey, has anyone done a short sale recently in California? Are you aware of any new compliances, disclosures? While you are also simultaneously doing your own research, but it's nice to reach out to see who is up on this information and equipped to help you. And I've helped several people as well with just my own feedback and experience. And I think it just goes a long way to feel safe and to have safe places where you can go and ask for help and get the help you need, or give someone else the help that they need. And you can also find Facebook groups that are specific to your city and your county and your state. And there are also Facebook groups that are broader. And also community can also be built through your newsletter, through starting a podcast, your social media community. Maybe you have a Patreon or, something behind a paywall. You have a course. That's all community. And I say community instead of supporters, instead of followers, because we all need to uplift and encourage each other often and frequently. And I know there are seasons where we just have our head down and we can't see beyond the next 3 emails. And at that point, take a step back, go for a walk, take a deep breath, pray, journal, whatever you need. Hire help, ask for help. So community, community, community. And I'm so grateful that I have started this podcast, because it has grown my community, my extended network, my extended people that get me and I get them, of real estate professionals, most importantly, us transaction coordinators in this real estate industry, who often get ignored have no light shining on us. Not that we need the spotlight, but it's okay to give us the credit that we deserve from time to time. So those are my 6 tips. Please let me know if this resonates with you and if there are any tips you want to discuss. If you want a part 2, I'm more than glad to share that. Also, go to my YouTube channel. If you search Transaction Care, there will be a link in the description to make it easier for you. Click on that link, youtube.com/transaction care. I will be posting the visuals for this and also be going live. Follow me there, subscribe. Also join my newsletter so you know when exactly the time, the day, the date, when I go live, so I can answer any questions that you all have. I can support you. I can coach you through it. If you want one-on-one coaching and work with me, I have programs. We can do a 90-minute session. If you want something more long-term, I have those 3 months, 6 months, 1 year plans. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. I want to work with you and help you in your transaction coordination journey to make sure you are in alignment with this career choice. And if it's not in alignment anymore, what are we going to do next? I'm here to help, period. So, my TC community, let me know how you're doing. I appreciate you all. Again, to sum things up in this episode, looking back at the last 6 years, as I'm embarking in this 6th year, going on 7 now, I'm so grateful that I endured it, that I stuck it out, even in the moments where I wanted to give up, where I almost had panic attacks, where I was so stressed out, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, but also reflecting on the enjoyable moments, starting a podcast, earning more money in the beginning of my career that I've never seen in my life, and knowing that I'm capable of that on my own, that I don't need anyone else's business or job to tell me to put a cap on my life, on my livelihood. I've learned my potential. I can't unsee that. And if you're someone that's seeking, that needs to seek help in finding who you are, learning who you are, again, please reach out. I'm here to support you. I want to share all of my experiences with you all. There's no point in me knowing what I know or seeing what I see if I'm not telling anyone, if I'm not sharing it with you all, if I'm not teaching it, sharing it again, providing value in your journey. Set up a free discovery call with me. We'll talk for about 20, 30 minutes. But if you want to go beyond that, again, I have services for that. And if you're ready, when you're ready to commit and make that investment, let Transaction Care be that person, that business, that service that you reach out to. Let me, Lillian Hernandez, aka Lilly, be that person you reach out to first when you're ready to take those next steps. And I'll be honest, if I'm not the person to help you, I have a long list of people that are more than willing to help and that will probably be in more alignment with you. And I'm not afraid to give away business either. But if you come to me first and start with me first, let's just dialogue. Let's just talk. Because I know for sure that there's some area that I can help you with. And if anything, you'll be a part of my community. So I thank you all for listening. This has been another episode to kick off the new year of the Transaction Care Podcast. My name is Lillian Hernandez, best known as Lilly. I'm your resident care coordinator and host of the Transaction Care Podcast. New episodes on Mondays. You can email me and reach me at tc@transactioncare.com. Please visit transactioncare.com to learn more about the brand, the business, services, myself, and what is next. What is next? But thank you for listening. I'm truly, truly grateful. We did 50 episodes last year, 20 interviews. It was such a blessing. I'm so grateful. And I can't wait to explore how this new year unfolds for all of us. And I will be documenting my journey on this podcast, on YouTube, on my social media. There's more ahead. There's more ahead, more discussions, more people to piss off and challenge and question, more people to encourage and uplift. And I'm ready for that responsibility, that journey with myself, with you all. We got this. So until the next episode, I'm giving you the keys. There are no gatekeepers here. Care for yourself, care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. Let's coordinate. Talk soon.